Hello, my name is Kelvin Davis. I wanted to spend some time with you today sharing 3 quick and easy credit secrets to getting higher limit credit cards. Now, just as a little background, I, like most of you during this pandemic, this shut-in time, especially within the last year or so, I've been catching up on my YouTube videos. Well, I was watching one particular video, and the guy just caught my interest, him 500, recession-proof Marcus Barney, and the thing that he was talking about swap-a-lease, basically going in and taking over the lease of a person who wanted to get out of their lease. And it just sparked my interest for some reason. He come up with some business idea to help people generate income off of the leased cars if you take over the lease to generate income. It was just a novel way of thinking. It sparked my interest. But what I'm going to talk to you today, I have a business consulting firm, and I work with startups, companies that are looking to decide whether they're going to do corporation or LLC, partnership or sole proprietor, whether they're going to be nonprofit or for-profit. I help with the setup, with the articles of organization or articles of incorporation, getting them signed up with the Secretary of State in their area. I help with the application, whether it's for a 501c3 and that tax designation. So we help with everything startup, whether it's the EIN number, the DUNS number, recommending that they get a bank account, anything to do with setting up your business. But in addition to that, I find that a lot of these startups are looking for ways that they can get money to help with the startup of their business. So we started gathering information concerning lenders who they would look into, whether it's the SBA or different banks around town, local versus regional, and then national banks, things of this nature. And we found that a lot of businesses aren't able to receive the funding that they need because of the owner's personal credit situations. And then we got into understanding or explaining to our clients that, yes, business funding is available, but as a foundation, your personal credit needs to be in order. So we got into that space. And all of this is going to come back around to the YouTube videos, because one thing that it was actually a podcast that I was watching, and Marcus Barney was the guest speaker on that podcast. Earn Your Leisure was the name of the podcast. And he was speaking about turning credit into cash. And the main topic was credit. But like I said, the part that sparked my interest was just the section that he was talking about swapping a lease. And, God has all kind of ways to get our attention. And he knew that that was going to hold my attention while he spoke with it. And, that I would continue to listen as he went into some other topics that I'm speaking with you about today. Well, 3 quick and easy credit secrets to getting higher limit credit cards. As I dealt with my business clients and began to understand or explain to them that their credit situations needed to be better, I began to look into personal credit. And one thing that I found, or 3 things that I found, if you're able to clean, improve, and build your personal credit, then you're in a better position for banks to lend you money and offer you higher limit credit cards. And with these higher limit credit cards, we're able to take them and fund our businesses and really, create the vision that we had initially in wanting to get in business in the first place. A lot of the times, and of course there's nothing wrong with bootstrapping and doing it on a shoestring, but if your vision is bigger than that, sometimes that can frustrate you into not getting into the business that you really want to be in. So what I told them in these 3 quick and easy steps, what I'm going to share with you, is that you need to first work on cleaning your credit. What does cleaning your credit entail? Cleaning your credit entails getting rid of all the junk, all the gunk, all the things that are on your credit that bring your score down and that make you look less than favorable to lenders and creditors. So what we want to do in cleaning our credit, the first thing we want to do is pull our credit report. And I liken this to being in the mall where you have the directory. You're looking for a particular store, you go to the directory and they have a red X on there which basically marks your spot and it'll say you are here. Well, if you know where you are and then you find out where the particular store is that you want to visit, now all of a sudden you have this road map to get you from where you are to where you want to be. Your credit report tells you where you are. We know where we want to be. We want to be at 850. Now, there's a saying that goes, shoot for the moon. If you should miss, at least you'll be among the stars. So we want to shoot for the moon. We want to shoot for that 850. Whether we achieve it or not, we want to shoot for it, because if we shoot for the moon, even if we miss, at least we'll be amongst the stars. You know, 700s, high 700s. So that's not bad. But the first thing you want to do is get that credit report so we can know where we are. Once we know where we are, then we can start moving towards where we want to be. When you get your credit report, one of the first things you want to do is look at your personal information, how they have your personal information listed. And your personal information will consist of your name, your birth date, your address, and your employer. Well, what you want to do is make sure that you only have one name listed. Not a bunch of names, not a bunch of variations of your name. You know, in human error, when people enter your information, they may have misspelled your name, may have put a wrong middle initial, or anything could have happened. We don't want a bunch of different names and aliases on there when the banks look at us for lending purposes. So we want to make sure that your name is correct. We want to make sure that the address listed is your current address. You know, not a past address, not an incorrect address, not a wrong address, but your current address only. One name, one address. When we look at your employer, we want to have one employer listed there. Make sure, first of all, that it's the correct employer, and then that it's only one employer. You know, we want the banks to believe or get a sense of the fact that we've been steady and consistent, you know, for years. We've been in one residence, we've been at one job for years, you know, 10 or more years if we can convince them of that. So, if you see more than one name on your credit report, more than one address, more than one employer, what we need to do is contact the credit reporting agencies. There are three main ones: TransUnion, Experian, and Equifax. We want to contact them and make sure that we let them know we only want one name reported, one address, which is our current address, and one employer. Now, there are three ways that we can go about contacting the credit bureaus: telephone, internet, and by letter. And I'm going to include or provide a letter that's going to allow you to have access to the credit bureaus. The addresses, of course, will be there, but it'll state in the letter, this is my legal name, this is my current address, this is my current employer. Everything other than these three items should be removed from my personal information. And by that I mean any other names, any other addresses, any other employers. So that letter's there, but you're also able to call. And I recommend the letters because we're able to keep a paper trail if we should have to complain to the Federal Bureau, the Consumer Protection, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau, the CFPB, the Consumer Financial Protection Bureau. If we have to complain to them that the bureaus aren't doing what they're supposed to be doing, we want to have a paper trail. Now, you can call and it's something as simple as getting your name right, your address right, your employer right, the credit bureaus are pretty good with getting those things corrected over the phone. So, that'll get it done quicker. But I recommend a letter so that they have something that says, okay, there's a record that we've been contacted and we need to do something about this. So with that being done, after we get those things corrected, now we want to move on to weightier matters, which are derogatory information, negative accounts, whether it's a judgment, tax lien, bankruptcy, child support, collections, late payments, missed payments, all of those negative things, all of those things that no one wants reflected on them, So we're going to move on to those things. Those things need to be removed, okay? We need to remove those things. We need to get rid of those things from our credit report. We don't want those things reported. And what I recommend, what I suggest, and it's a little known secret, but there are other credit bureaus that are generally not known about. Smaller companies, and they are basically the reservoirs, the holding tanks, if you will, of information that the big three companies go to for the information. And what you want to do is opt out or freeze these companies from reporting your personal information. And they'll report information concerning past rental places. They'll report information on past employers, past addresses, late payments, missed payments. They'll report, public records, bankruptcies, child supports, judgments, things of that nature, convictions, evictions, things of this nature. And these companies report those things. They store that information, and as the big companies request information concerning you from them, they'll report it. It's a money business. These smaller companies receive money to hold your information and give it to the bigger companies. The bigger companies receive money from the banks and lenders or whoever, whether it's your employer or an apartment complex, to receive information about you. The credit reporting agencies receive money to report that information. So it's about the money. So they're going to get as much information as they can. But you, as a private citizen, have the right to let these companies know, listen, I don't want my information reported by you. So I'm going to opt out. I want to freeze my file with you, and I don't want you to share my information with anyone, and they have to comply. So if you opt out and freeze these secondary bureaus, now the big three, when they go to verify the information on your credit report, they're unable to because you've opted out or frozen these accounts. And the letters that I'm going to share, and I recommend you doing letters, the letters I'm going to share are designed to dispute with the credit bureaus the things that are negative on your credit report. Like I say, whether it's a bankruptcy, a judgment, a lien, child support, collections, missed payments, late payments. And for late payments, we actually have two letters. One letter for the credit bureau, but another letter to go directly to the company to basically say to them, listen, I know I missed a payment. I understand that credit is very important. This is what happened. I Scout's honor, promised never to do it again. Or you can see from my past history, I was a good payer. My present history, I'm a good payer. Please remove this from my credit report. So that's a goodwill letter that we have that you can send to the company itself and ask them to have it removed. If they're unwilling to, then we have the letter that'll go to the bureau and have them to remove it. So we have two options there. But our goal is to clean our credit. And we're moving towards putting ourselves in a position so that we can qualify to get higher limit credit cards. We want higher limits so that we can move our business forward in the way in which we envisioned initially. But we have to start with our personal credit situation. So as we're cleaning our credit, we need to focus on removing that negative information. Another thing that we want to look at are hard inquiries. Hard inquiries are what occur, or is what a hard inquiry is what occurs to your credit report when you apply for new credit. When you go out and seek a new credit card or a new loan, the potential lender will go to the credit bureau to see if you're, credit worthy, and it'll be a hard inquiry on your credit report. Well, that hard inquiry shows other banks or creditors, lenders, that you are actively seeking credit. And if you're going everywhere actively seeking credit, they see a bunch of hard inquiries on your credit report. Now they're getting nervous that you're, trying to get all this credit together, and that basically gives them the impression that within, statistically speaking, that gives the impression that within a few years, this person is going to be more apt to file for bankruptcy than someone who has fewer hard inquiries on their credit report. So you absolutely want to not only remove the derogatory information that I named, the bankruptcies and things of that nature, but those hard inquiries as well. And one thing that justifies those hard inquiries being removed, if you've ever gone and tried to get a car loan, you'll know that the car dealership will actually shop your credit around, for the best rate or for a loan, for you, and it may be 10 different creditors that they'll ship your or shop your credit around to. Each one of those creditors running your credit is going to, cause your credit score to be diminished by 2 or 3 points per search. And these hard inquiries are going to sit on your credit report for up to 2 years, for at least 2 years. So we have justification in removing these inquiries because most often you never gave permission to each and every one of those particular lenders to pull your credit. All right, you gave the permission to the dealership, but not the 10 friends that he brought along with them. So we're going to let the credit companies, the credit bureaus know that those things need to be removed. And we're going to share information on how to do that, like I said, in our letters. But the derogatory, the hard inquiries, those things need to be removed. And that's going to go towards cleaning our credit report. We want our credit report to be clean so that as we move into the next step, which is improving our credit, now what we're doing is basically making ourselves look beautiful. I liken it to, a woman. She wants to have her best dress on, her favorite shoes that matches the outfit. She wants to have herself made up and her hair and everything just right so that when she goes out, she's attractive to every man who sees her. She might not want to attract every man, but the ones that she does want to attract, she's very attractive to them. We're not looking to shop ourselves out to each and every lender out there, but to the ones that we are wanting to shop ourselves to, we want to look very attractive. So that's what improving our credit is about, to make ourselves look very attractive to the particular lenders that we're going to looking for funding so that our businesses can move forward. Improving your credit, you want to hit certain data points. You want to hit certain things that banks are looking at. Now, there are a lot of things that go into making up our credit score, but these 6 things in particular are what banks are looking at to make sure that we're credit worthy and to make sure that we're more likely than not to respect credit and do well with credit. So the first thing is our payment history. We want to make sure that our payment history is 100%. 99% is good, 100% is better. Actually best. 98% is good, 99% is better, 100% is the best, and 100% is what we want in our payment history. So that goes back to cleaning our credit. Any late payments, any missed payments, we need to clear those things up during the cleaning process so that when we get into the improved process, we have 100% payment history. They also look at our utilization. You know, how much credit have we used versus what we have. And this is basically focused on your revolving credit. You know, they're looking at your revolving credit, your credit cards. So if you have a credit card with $1,000 limit and you've spent $1,000, your utilization is 100%, which is terrible. We want to have our utilization 10% or less. So if you have a $1,000 credit limit, you want to only spend up to $100 on that particular card and keep it there so that the utilization doesn't go above 10%. All right? 10% of 1,000 is 100. I know you all can do math. But the point I'm trying to make is you want to keep your utilization low, and that's attractive to the banks. Derogatory information. You want to have zero derogatory information on your credit report. So that's what, going back to the cleaning, getting rid of all of that, you know, ugly and bad stuff off of there, get it off of there. The bankruptcies and collections, and I keep repeating, but these are the things we want to have absolutely removed. These are the derogatory marks that we don't want have reporting against us when the banks go to look at us. Also, the age of your credit. You don't want to have new credit. You don't want to show up, you know, well, I've been in the credit arena, you know, for only 6 months. No. You want to have 6 years or more where banks are able to see, okay, this person knows something about credit because they've been dealing with it for so many years. 20 years is better. But of course, we can't just age ourselves, but there are ways that we can age our credit. And we're going to talk about trade lines and authorized users, but that's basically a way that we can age our credit. We can find a loved one, or there are companies that are out there that have credit cards, revolving cards, that are, you know, anywhere from 6 days to 60 years old that you can plug into and have report to your credit report, and it'll show that you actually have some real age on your credit report. So we're going to talk about that some more. The number of accounts that you have. You want to have 10 or more accounts, positive accounts, reporting on your credit report. Now, the number of accounts is important, but the mix of accounts is also important. You don't want to just have 10 or more credit cards, all right? You want to have 10 or more positive accounts, but you want to have a good mix. You want to have installment loans in there as well as revolving accounts. You want to have, and I'm just going to name some things. You don't have to have all of these things, but you need to have a good mix. Don't just have one thing, have a good mix. You can have a mortgage in there. You can have rental history. You can have a car loan, a personal loan, student loan, credit cards. So there are different things that positive accounts that you can have on there, whether it's a secured loan, a secured credit card, unsecured. But you want to have 10 or more positive accounts listed on your credit report so that banks can see how you'll handle yourself or govern yourself in different situations. Well, I see how they do with credit cards, so they have 10 of those, but I don't know how they're going to do with mortgages or in a real estate situation or in a car loan situation. I don't know how they're going to do with paying back an installment loan, a personal loan, you know, things of this nature. They're coming to me for a personal loan, but all they have are credit cards, you know, so I don't know how they want to do. And it just makes you seem more risky than someone who has auto loan history or personal loan history or mortgage loan history. So you want to have a good mix. You know, it's kind of like a salad. You don't want to just have lettuce on the salad. You want to have cheese and carrots. You want to have some onions or some red cabbage. You want to have some boiled eggs, ham, turkey, chicken, whatever it is. But you want to have a nice mixed salad. And then, maybe put some dressing on there. But you want to have a nice mixed salad. You don't want to just have lettuce only. So you want to have a nice mix with your credit as well on your credit report. You want to have a nice mix, 10 or more accounts. Finally, hard inquiries. You want to have 5 or fewer hard inquiries. And again, we're going back to the cleaning. During the cleaning process, we cleaned up or got rid of all of those hard inquiries. We don't want to have 2 or more. We don't want to have 5 or more hard inquiries on our credit report within the last 6 months. All right? So hard inquiries stay on your credit report for 2 years, but if we can show that it's been 6 months or more that we've had any inquiries on there. Now, the goal is to remove the hard inquiries. Like I say, 5 or fewer are on there. It doesn't matter if it was within 6 months or 6 weeks. But if you have more than 5 hard inquiries on your credit report, you absolutely don't want those hard inquiries to have been within the last 6 months or more. So, hard inquiries, we want to remove those during the cleaning process so that we get down to improving or dressing ourselves up, presenting ourselves before the lenders. All they see is our best foot forward. They see us in our most beautiful state. We want to look beautiful. We want to have the peacock feathers out, in full bloom. We want to be just our best self, our best image. The best image of ourselves credit-wise is what we want to present to these banks and lenders so that we can qualify for higher limit credit cards, better loans, lower interest rates, and these are the things that are going to get us there. Again, we're talking about 3 quick and easy credit secrets to getting higher limit credit cards: cleaning our credit, improving our credit, and ultimately building our credit so that we can get these higher limit credit cards. Improving our credit, and then we're going to move on. We talked about payment history, making sure that it's 100%. Our utilization, making sure that it's 10% or less. Derogatory marks, we want 0 derogatories on there. We want to clean that up. The age of our credit, we want our credit to be 6 years or older. And we're going to talk about trade lines and authorized users, but those things are available so that we can get the age that we want on our credit. We want to age our credit to that degree. And we're going to talk about that a little bit more. The number of accounts. We want 10 or more positive accounts on our credit report. And we're going to talk about adding positive accounts when we talk about building, but you want to make sure that you have a good mix, that those accounts, the number, okay, but we want to have the mix right as well. We don't want to just have all credit cards. We want to have a good mix. And finally, our hard inquiries. 5 or fewer hard inquiries within the last 6 months or so. All right? So, that also is something that we deal with in cleaning our credit. Getting that done. So derogatory marks, hard inquiries should have been handled during the cleaning process. Now when we present ourselves before the bank and they improve our credit process, now all of a sudden we're looking good payment history wise, derogatory credit mix, hard inquiries, everything's looking good. Finally, our third step in getting ourselves in the best possible position to getting higher credit card limits, to getting higher limit credit cards, is to build our credit. We want to build our credit. And we're talking about personal credit now because as the personal credit is strengthened and our limits are higher, Statistically speaking, your business credit is going to be 5 to 10 times what your personal credit is. So if we can get our personal credit up to $20,000, $10,000, $20,000, now our business credit is going to be a multiple of 5 to 10 times that personal credit. So we're going to start here and build so that when we get here, oh man, we're ready to really do something. We're ready to rock and roll so that our businesses are adequately funded to move us forward, and we're able to do the great and powerful things that we envisioned when we initially had the business idea. Building credit, we need to make sure that we have the number of accounts, positive accounts on our credit report. You know, some people figure, well, if I don't use credit, I won't get in trouble. Well, that's fine, but if you need credit and you hadn't built any credit, then you might as well say that I'm starting at square one and we need to start building. So what we want to do is put some positive accounts on your credit report. How do we do that? We don't want to go and start applying for a bunch of different credit cards, because that's going to be counterintuitive, and that's going to actually add, and by counterintuitive I'm saying that we're going to be adding hard inquiries to our credit report, which is going to dirty it up again after we've cleaned it and improved and made ourselves look great. You know, it's like putting on your Easter suit and then going, or letting your kid put on an Easter suit and then letting them go out and play in the yard. You know they're going to get the Easter clothes dirty, so you basically, once you put that Easter suit on them, you tell them to sit down in one place and don't move until, you know, we're ready to go to church or whatever it is that we're about to do. And then after we do what we're about to do, then you can, you know, play and do whatever you're going to do, mess up your clothes. But we want to add positive accounts to our credit report without dirtying up our credit report. So there are some companies that report to the credit reporting agencies, will open up accounts for us, but they don't do hard inquiries to our credit report. There are several. I'm going to name a few. One is Rent Reporters, and they'll report positive rental history on your credit report, but they don't pull your credit report. So you have a positive account that's listing positive information on your credit report, but they didn't do a hard inquiry, which we don't have to worry about cleaning up. Self-lender, you know, it's a secure loan, and they'll report positive payment history to your credit report, but it's not a hard inquiry to your credit report. Now, most of you know what a secured loan is. Basically, you would take, let's say, $500 to a bank. They'll put it in a savings account, freeze it to where you can't take any money out. Then they'll turn around and loan you $500 against the security of your $500 in that frozen savings account. You pay back their $500 over the course of 12 months, 24 months, whatever the deal was. They're reporting to the credit agencies the positive payment history, and at the end of the term, you've paid them back plus interest. They unfreeze your $500 and you go on about your business. Well, with self-lender, what I like is you don't have to put any upfront money. You choose the payment option that you want, whether it's $20, $30, $40, or $100, and how much time, 12 months, 24 months, and you pay that amount over the course of time, and at the end of the time, the term, they'll have in an account for you your money, which they'll give you minus their fee. And all of that time, they've been reporting positive information to the credit bureaus. Now, with the bank, when you open up the account, they're going to request information from the credit bureaus as concerning you, which is going to be a hard inquiry on your account. You also have to put up $500 or however much money up front in that savings account for them to loan you money against it. So with lender, what I like, you don't have to have the upfront lump sum of money. There is no hard inquiry to your credit report, and you're getting positive history reported, positive payment history reported to your agency, to the credit bureaus, and this particular company reports to all three. So that's even better. So a bunch of positives here with going with lender, and there are other companies that do it, but we're talking about positive accounts. Another one, which is where I started with Marcus Barney and Recession Proof and the EYL University podcast that I was watching that night, he was talking about a company called Swap a Lease, where basically if there's someone who has a leased car, they want to get out of the lease situation, they can go to this company and have their lease car reported on the website. People who want to lease a car can go to the website, choose the particular car they want, and say, hey, I'll take on this lease, and begin to pay, receive the car to drive around, according to the stipulations, this, that, and the other, and pay. Well, that is a positive account that will report on your credit report as an auto account, and it's not a hard inquiry to your credit, but it's a positive account to your credit report, gives you auto payment history, and you're actively building your credit report. So we talked about rental history. We talked about